Hello, my name is Dr. Yaya Sissoko. Today we are going to talk about Chapter 15, Public Policy Toward Monopoly. So public policy toward monopoly is an increasing competition with antitrust law. So the government derived this power over private industry from the antitrust law, a collection of statutes aimed at curbing monopoly power. The first and most important of this law was the Sherman Antitrust Act, of 1890, where Congress passed this law to reduce the market power of the large and powerful trusts. They were viewing as dominating the economy at the time. So, so another one also is the Clayton Antitrust Act of 1914. So, mm, which strengthened the government power and authorized private lawsuit. As the US Supreme Court once put it, the antitrust law are a comprehensive charter of economic liberty aimed at preserving free and unfiltered competition as a rule of the market. For instance, in 1984, the government split up AT&T, the largest telecommunication company, into eight smaller companies. Finally, the antitrust law prevent companies from coordinating the activity in a way that would make a market less competitive. So this law prevent measure, for instance, a break up company, like in the case of AT&T. It's also, it's a preventive measure. For instance, in 1994, the government challenged in court that Microsoft, the software giant Microsoft cannot buy into it, in that sense, to prevent the measure. So also prevent company from coordinating the activities to make market less competitive. So looking at this photo here, but if we do merge with the amalgam date, we will have enough resources to fight the antitrust violation caused by the merger. So you can see that it's something that the business always worry before they merge, worry about before. So regulation allows the government to control the behavior of monopoly using, for instance, price control, price selling, so will allow the government to set a maximum price that monopoly can charge in the case of, so cable or those utility company, for instance. It is also common in the case of natural monopoly, so in the case of marginal cost pricing, maybe where the price may be less than the average total cost. So it gives no incentive to reduce the cost by the monopoly. Figure number 10, marginal cost pricing of a monopoly. So the government will impose, on a natural monopoly who has a declining average total cost, a marginal cost which is less than the average cost. So the government imposes, so a price, regulated price here, price ceiling, which is less than the average cost. So the average cost is total cost is falling, and then this, price is less than the average cost, which will lead to a loss here. The loss will be the rectangle in this case. So, and therefore, the regulator require a natural monopoly to charge a price equal to marginal cost, which price will be below the average total cost, and the monopoly will lose money. So another way of government dealing with monopoly is the public ownership of the monopoly. The government will own and run the monopoly example of public, so monopoly would be, utility company in Europe, water company, telephone and electricity company. Also, the U.S., government own the U.S. Post Office, so in that sense. So the ownership impact the firm ability to reduce the cost of production. So if the public owned company, so they have less incentive to reduce the cost of production. The monopoly may be so running loss or negative profit. So, but if the monopoly is owned privately, then they have incentive to minimize the cost of production. If the manager of a private company does not do a good job, he or she can be fired. But if it's a public-owned company, it's because of the bureaucracy. It's difficult to fire the manager of a public company who is losing money. So also another thing, the public owner, the government, so sometimes if it doesn't do a good job, so then the loser are the customer and the taxpayer. So the taxpayer will have to pay to subsidize that public company in that sense. Table to provide a summary comparison between perfect competition and monopoly. So let's talk about first about the similarity between these two markets. So the goal for a firm for fair competition is to maximize the profit. For monopoly is also to maximize profit. The rule for maximizing profit is so perfect competition firm will maximize profit whenever marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. For monopoly, it's marginal revenue also equal to marginal cost, same. So can firm earn economic profit in the short run? For perfect competition, it's yes. For monopoly, it's also yes. So now let's talk about the differences between these two type of market. So the first difference will be the number of firms. So for perfect competition, you have many sellers. So they provide almost identical product. So for monopoly, you have only one seller. There is no close substitute to the product. So with respect to the marginal revenue, for perfect competition, marginal revenue equal to the price. Okay, for monopoly, marginal revenue is less than the price because the demand is downward sloping, so monopoly can charge higher prices. Here, because the individual demand curve is horizontal, marginal revenue equal to the price and equal to the average revenue. How about the price? So for perfect competition, the price equal to marginal cost, and for monopoly, the price is higher than the marginal cost. So you can see that for monopoly to maximize profit, marginal revenue equal to marginal cost, but this will be less than the price. For perfect competition firm to maximize profit, marginal revenue equal to marginal cost equal to the price. So with respect to so the firm producing welfare, maximizing level of output, efficient output. So for perfect competition, it's a yes. Monopoly is a no because this can lead to a deadweight loss, which is a reduction in consumer, a reduction in consumer surplus. So how about entry in the long run? Okay, for perfect competition, yes, you can enter, so the market and then start making profit until profit are drawn down to zero. And monopoly, in the case of monopoly, you cannot enter the market because there are barriers to entry. So how about if can a firm earn economic profit in the long run? For perfect competition, no firm in the long run are making zero economic profit. For monopoly, yes, they can still make profit in the long run. Again, because of barrier to entry to the monopoly. How about price discrimination? Is price discrimination possible? Yes, no for competitive firm, and yes for monopoly. This is the end of chapter 15. Thank you.